Today, I'm going to talk about what it's like to be the peacekeeper. In every family, people play roles, and most of these roles are unconscious, meaning we don't even realize we're playing them. We adopt these roles when we're really young, and most of us end up repeating these roles into our relationships well into our adulthood. So, the peacekeeper is the member of the family who does two main things. The first thing is they're easy. They have very few needs and they rarely ask others for help. The second thing is they find themselves regularly navigating issues between others, usually other family members. So maybe you're the person that one of your parents calls to vent about the other parent, or maybe you're the one who's called to fix issues when there's fights between siblings. So, how does this role begin? Usually, the peacekeeper is raised in an environment that's unpredictable in some way. So, maybe you were raised in a home where your parents were always stressed out in a tense marriage, and you often found yourself in the middle of their arguments. Or maybe you had parents who were really shut down and cold. So, you end up learning to repress all of your own needs. Some common things that you might have heard growing up if you were the peacekeeper. Maybe you heard, "You're so mature for your age." Usually, this is because you had to act like an adult at a really young age, giving others the impression that you were much older than you actually were. Maybe you heard, "I never had to worry about you." This is especially common if you had other siblings who were either highly sensitive or who required a lot of care themselves. You didn't show many outward signs of needing anyone or anything, giving others the sense that you could care for yourself and giving you the sense that you raised yourself or that you spent a lot of time alone. Or maybe you heard growing up, "You're such an overachiever," or all of your achievements were celebrated. This is because a lot of us learn to channel our anxious energy or our feelings of low self worth into achievement. We end up doing really well in school and then ultimately our careers trying to seek that external source of validation, but usually internally having a sense of emptiness or of loneliness. It is really common for someone who is the peacekeeper to look like they have everything together. Growing up, my family always referred to me as, "Oh, nothing bothers Nicole," when in reality, I had a ton of anxiety and overwhelming feelings. And I ended up dissociating. But to everyone else, I looked like I had it all together and like I was doing well, even. A core trait of someone who is a peacemaker is we don't end up having a lot of outward emotion a lot of the time. We're internalizing our feelings or we mask them very well. So if you notice yourself in these roles, here are some things you can do to begin to break this pattern. The first thing you can do is become aware of your own needs. The peacemaker is really out of touch with their own needs because they've been putting everyone else's needs first. So you're going to want to begin to pause, to check in with yourself by simply asking, "What am I needing?" It can be something as simple as maybe just needing to take a break, to regroup, to decompress for 10, 15 minutes instead of maybe answering that phone call from the friend who you know needs to vent. When we start making this shift from focusing on what's happening outside of us to what's happening inside of us, we can become better aware of our own needs. The second step is you want to begin to ask for help. Now, this can be very uncomfortable for a peacemaker because we're used to relying on a sense of being independent, of doing it all. A lot of us even pride ourselves on that sense of independence. So we're going to want to practice reaching out to people that we trust and asking for help when we need it. Now, this can be asking for a friend to listen after you had a bad day because you just want someone to be there for you, or asking for a small favor when you're overwhelmed, asking for your friend to pick up something for you on the way home from work. Letting people help us when we actually need it creates strong and healthy relationships. The peacekeeper is usually the glue of the family, the one that holds everything together. So it is so important to begin to receive the help and the support that we need too. And the third thing that you're going to want to do is practice saying no. Now, of course, this can be the most difficult because we don't want to say no. We're quite literally conditioned to be the person that's helping, that's fixing, or that's adjusting our lives to accommodate those that we care about. So you're going to want to practice saying no and letting people know when you're not available, which of course will feel unnatural at first and maybe even like you're doing something wrong. But so much healing can happen when we're finally able to honor and respect our own limits. Now, I know these things probably sound really simple, and they're definitely not easy. Remember to take these steps slowly, consistently, and to really acknowledge yourself as you begin to do this life changing work. I'd love to hear from all of you peacekeepers in the comments. Share your journey below.